What is up guys, this is Ralph and welcome to part 2 of the 5 fragrances that I bought based on the recommendations of famous YouTubers. First of all, I would like to thank you for the support that you have given my channel. The part 1 of this video is the first time that I've crossed a milestone in my short YouTubing career. It was the first video that I made that reached 1,000 views. So again, I would like to thank you all for watching my review, and hopefully you will continue to do so in the future. Since it has been cold here in Manila for the past few days, and I know most of you are still in the heart of winter, what better fragrance than to start with our first recommendation from Steven of Redolescence.
This is a unique scent because it borrows elements from the original Fahrenheit, but it also takes a step forward in doing something on its own.
Our first fragrance will be Dior's Fahrenheit. So this one was released in 2014. The perfumer behind this is Dior's in-house, Francois Demachy. And I have chosen to buy this one or to feature this one in this video because I have to agree what Steven said regarding that it may be a flanker, but it smells very different from the original Fahrenheit. In terms of scent, this being the Le Parfum version, this one is more smoother, more rounder than the original one. It features more the rum and the vanilla accord, which is takes the center stage of this perfume. In my testing, to tell you honestly, I was quite a bit disappointed with the original when I first smelled it because I didn't get this gasoline vibe that most people are talking about. So mostly what I get from the original was this slightly sweet and it came off as a weak scent, a weak fragrance, and it didn't perform much on my skin when I tested it. So that's why I opted, or I tried to find a more powerful or a more concentrated, more dense version of that one, and luckily I have been able to secure this one. So this one is not available here in the Philippines, but I have sourced this from overseas, and since I've got this, I really enjoyed wearing this, especially on special occasions or night outs. One more thing, if you don't like cumin in fragrances, this one will not be for you, since this one has a not prominent, but you can definitely detect cumin here in this fragrance, which gives out this BO type of smell, or a bit smells like piss. So you can definitely get that. However, it is not that much prominent, but that is something to take note of.
Longevity was 8+ hours, projection is a solid 2 hours, versatility is compromised a little bit.
So performance wise, I have to agree with Steven. This one is at least 8 hours plus on my skin. Projection is moderate, but it leaves a nice sillage. So if I can estimate, maybe also around I get 2 to 3 hours of decent projection. But the sillage of this one is very incredible. That's why it is best suited for cold weather environments, especially now here in the Philippines where it's quite cold. Or if you are in Europe, also in North America, where it is still at the heart of winter, this one is a good choice also. So again, this one is Fahrenheit Le Parfum by Dior. On to the next fragrance, we have Justin Copeland from Stay Fresh Productions.
So I'm going to try this. I'm not sure if this one's discontinued. Here we go. Whoa, okay. This is not what I expected at all. This seems like a fresh citrus that you could wear at night, perhaps?
A fresh fragrance that can be worn at night. I think that's the perfect description of Tom Ford's Venetian Bergamot. So sadly, this one is already discontinued, but you can still get your hands on Tom Ford's Venetian Bergamot. So for the smell, as Justin already said, this one is different from your typical fresh fragrances. It has a nice depth to it. The initial blast is fresh, but it has an underlying sweetness and a woody aspect that gives it a nice and let's say more complex DNA than your typical Tom Ford freshie like Neroli Portofino and Mandarino di Amalfi and the likes. It also has this nice floral aspect to it, especially the magnolia, or what we call here in the Philippines as rosal. It gives this fragrance a slight sweetness and femininity to it, that it's a balanced perfume. I say it is perfectly unisex. This one lasts on my skin for a good 5 to 7 hours, which is decent for a fresh fragrance. And the projection is about 2 to 3 feet for the first hour, and then it sits close in your skin for the remainder of its longevity. If you are looking for a fragrance that is not your typical freshie, then I would suggest that you act now and get Venetian Bergamot before it becomes very hard to acquire. So that's it. This one has been Venetian Bergamot. The third fragrance on this list came from the recommendation of the perfume guy, Mr. Sebastian Lara.
Royal Oud, my number one. And this is the very first fragrance I bought from Creed.
When the perfume guy names this one as his number one Creed fragrance, then you know that it must be quite good. So this one is Creed's Royal Oud. This is supposed to be my first Creed fragrance bottle that I will purchase, but due to its limited availability here in my country, I have opted to buy a different popular Creed fragrance instead.
There is some oud in here, but for me it's not about oud.
So I have to agree with Sebastian that this one doesn't have a prominent oud scent on it, but this one is really good, guys. In fact, I will have it as my scent of the day. This one is so good, so classy, so regal smelling. I love the fact that in the opening it smells like this very masculine type of scent, even if there is no oud in it, or if the oud is barely detectable. This one is still very masculine with that cedar note, that prominent cedar note, which smells on my skin like cigarette scent, or has this ashy type of vibe that it gives this perfume. Also, the performance and the projection of this one is no slouch as well. I consistently get from my previous wears around 8 to 10 hours, sometimes more, and the projection is not that loud, but it is still quite decent. So this one, guys, is Creed's Royal Oud. If you're looking for a westernized oud scent that is not related to Tom Ford's Oud Wood, then this one is a perfect choice for you. Royal Oud by Creed. Next one we have is Kuya Dito from the YouTube channel Kilatis.
Sa totoo lang, mas bagay sa Pilipinas ito.
For the fourth fragrance, we have Drar Intense. So, in that clip, guys, he was comparing this one to Dior Sauvage Elixir. And he actually said that this one is more suited to the Philippine weather, which I have to agree 100%, because this one is a more fresher take on that type of DNA and has a lighter wearing feel due to its aromatic or more aromatic composition.
Longevity niya, guys, pareho.
As you can tell, I have worn this quite a few times already, and I have consistently garnered compliments while wearing this one. Longevity, as he said, is on par with Dior Sauvage Elixir. However, the main difference between this one Drar Intense and this one is that Drar Intense is more projecting or has a better projection than this one. However, this one wins out in the sillage department. It leaves a very thick and nice scent trail when you are passing by or walking by.
Ito ang maganda dito guys, hindi naman pipitsugin.
Even though the price of this one is way less expensive than the Dior Sauvage Elixir, this one doesn't come off as cheap smelling. If you are looking for an alternative to Dior Sauvage Elixir without it being a dupe or a clone or a copy, then this one, Drar Intense, has that same vibe. However, it is more lighter and more wearable, especially in the high heat. So this one guys is Drar Intense. The last perfume, who better to give advice whether to buy it or not, is George from the Fragrance Apprentice.
I buy it, comes in some cheap, tatty cardboard box. I open it, you've got the stupid gold bottle. I spray it on, pat it down, which some of you do hate, but you're wrong. I smell it, and I go, actually that's pretty bloody good.
One quick tip guys is you can pat the fragrance like this. However, what I don't recommend for you to do is to rub your fragrance like this one. A common misconception that you are not supposed to rub your fragrance like this is because it will warm up and destroy the molecules. However, that's not the case in my research because fragrances are stability tested up to a temperature, if I remember correctly, of 40 degrees Celsius. So the heat generated by you rubbing your fragrance like this is not sufficient to raise it above that 40 degrees centigrade. However, what you are missing, what you are actually doing is you are missing out on the opening of the fragrance. The time you are spending rubbing it away like this one, the opening is already gone and finished. So you are already smelling into the mid or even the base. So that's it guys, just one quick tip. I don't know if that's quick, but it's long. If you have been in the fragrance game for quite some time, you might have encountered George already and his channel. So his number one most favorite perfume is Millésime Imperial by Creed. Actually, I have bought Millésime Imperial in the past because it always pops up on his channel as his most favorite perfume. So I got intrigued, I smelled it, and it's quite good honestly, but it doesn't have the performance that I am looking for in a fragrance. So that's why I have gotten rid of that perfume. So when I saw that George uploaded a video regarding Club de Nuit Milestone, and that was his initial impression, boy oh boy, I know that I have to get a bottle of this one. So as you can see, the level is already quite low. I think it's around 20 to 30 ml remaining. I have used it that much guys because I really love the scent of this. I really love the Millésime Imperial DNA. However, the performance, as I've said, is what turned me off on that fragrance. So even the sprayer is all messed up. So let's get this sprayed. So this one guys is pretty close and a pretty good clone of Millésime Imperial. It captures that fresh, refreshing, energizing scent of in the opening, especially in the opening of Millésime Imperial, which I think is the most difficult part of any Creed perfume to copy. When I first smelled Club de Nuit Intense Man, the EDT version, the original one, the opening is very harsh and it is very different from the Aventus opening, which is smooth, fruity, well blended. The Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man is synthetic, rough, and it has a a scent to it that is not very, it is quite honestly offensive when you are smelling it, like a lemon cleaner type of vibe. So in the opening of this one, it is a smooth, refined, not that synthetic smelling at all, although it is not as natural as the Creed Millésime Imperial is, but this one is a pretty good clone of that one. And of course, the price point of something like this is much less expensive than what Creed has to offer. In summary, I think this one and Armaf Sillage, the clone to Silver Mountain Water, are the two best clones that Armaf has produced so far. I haven't tried yet their new releases, but in their previous ones, I think this one and Sillage are the best. So that's it, guys. That was 5 fragrances that I bought based on the recommendations or based on watching reviews by popular YouTube fragrance creators. So if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up, and to support this channel, please hit the subscribe button. So I will see you again, guys, in the next video, and have a great weekend. Bye bye.